Hi, it's Max at Joker's Comedy Club, returning with a Zoom chat. And this week's comedian is Costaki Economopoulos.
Hey, everybody. What's up, Max?
So good. Kostaki, you're our first special event that we had since COVID, I think, like that. So,
Oh, is that right? The
yeah,
biggest name in comedy. What a perfect booking.
yeah, special tickets, and I've been doing promos for it and stuff like that. So we're looking forward to it.
I appreciate it. I love that club. It'll be good to be back.
And we're just doing Friday and Saturday night at 7:30 now. It's working out good. So you're gonna be on a Bob and Tom episode or appearance here or coming up.
Yeah, I've done one recently, and those guys have been great to me. I've been on more weeks than not for about 13, 14 years. So those are my people, and they've helped me to reach my people. So I owe them everything. They've been great to me.
The sports angle is good though, right? That's kind of like your base, or is that true?
Yeah, I didn't really plan it that way. But originally I was doing a segment on there called the Econo Monologue. Every week I would pick a different subject, anything that had bullet points. One of my first ones was phobias. I thought, well, I could write 15 jokes about weird phobias. Sure, right?
Mhm.
So for 2 or 3 years, it was every week was a different subject. And then I did some topical NFL jokes with them that really were singing. And so it morphed into an all NFL segment. So during the season, I'm on every week, and we talk about the weekend that was in the NFL. It's been great fun.
Yeah, there's usually something funny happening in the NFL.
Oh yeah, the NFL is great fun. Yeah, it's yeah, I love it. It was always a guilty pleasure of mine anyway. Like I
Mm,
was one of those guys that was, reading fantasy wide receiver stats anyway.
right.
So
Yeah.
to get to write jokes about it and literally be able to say to my wife, "Honey, I have to watch the game. It's my job." It's been kind of a gift. I loved
Yeah.
it.
Speaking of funny, the Seahawks are, I'm afraid they might be a joke this year.
Yeah, they might be. We'll see. Uh, I saw Pete Carroll said that with Geno Smith and what's the other kid? The other
Oh, we
quarterback?
got somebody from Denver. We got Denver's throw out.
That's right, the
Quarterback.
Denver kid.
Yeah.
And he said that the team's in good shape. And I thought, now Pete Carroll's the guy who signed the fat Eddie Lacy. I don't know if he knows what good shape is, but yeah, that team and my team, the Falcons, are primed for
Ooh.
bottom five in the league. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Falcons once a soaring franchise that all came that close to winning the Super Bowl, and
Oh,
then they've
so
kind of like
close.
fallen
So
from the
close.
sky.
Here's the darkest joke I wrote that night, Max. At least when you're a Falcons fan, you slit your wrists. You get to die in your own team colors.
And we can't. Seahawks fans can't do that. No.
You guys have been had a good run. I mean,
Mm,
right now the
yeah.
team's bad, but
Yeah.
the last several years have been good, and a few years before that were good, and Sean Alexander years were good, and
Yeah.
that team's had a pretty good run.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we have to rely on the Mariners, so that's not helping us either. That's no
Ah.
consolation. I think the women's basketball team is our whole claim. We never knew. How did you get started in comedy? I mean, what kind of a sad upbringing did you have to have? Resort to.
You know what? I don't know if I'm an outlier or not, but I had a freaky good upbringing, and I just loved stand up. If you watch a good sitcom, you laugh a handful of times in a half an hour. If you
Mm,
watch a good comic, you're laughing every 6, 7, 10 seconds for an hour. I mean, it's a
mm,
really concentrated, intensive form of comedy. And I was just always drawn to it. There's no producer and executive, and you're not blocking scenes and dealing with actors.
mhm.
It's just a person, a light, a microphone, and an audience. There's just
Yeah.
something very simple and pure about it that I've always been drawn to. So
Right.
I wasn't particularly hilarious in high school or anything. I always was fascinated with jokes. It was interesting to me that you could tell the same joke to a group of people at noon and get a 7 laugh, and then tell the same joke to a different group of people at 5 p.m. and get a 4 laugh or a 10 laugh. It's such a delicate, ethereal thing, comedy. What makes people laugh and what's happening in the social environment. And you get one syllable wrong and you kind of lose the magic. And I just was always intrigued by comedy. I had all the George Carlin audio cassettes. That'll date me a little. So I just love stand up, and I started doing some open mics in college, and eventually I had to turn down a couple of paying gigs to write my master's thesis when I was in grad school. And so I thought, well, I have to go try this and see if I could make it work. So I saved my books, and I went on the road, and I still have my books. So I need to go back and teach American government someday, but so far so good.
So you did get that master's degree, though.
Right? I did. I hung in there. I got the master's, and I wrote my thesis about the influence of satire, political satire, on our feelings about government, because those are my two loves at the time. I was intrigued by what made people laugh and what made people vote. And so I studied that, communication theory, political theory, efficacy, all this stuff. I was the foremost expert in the world at the time on this one little slice of humanity. So I just love that. So I hung in there, I got my degree, and I went on the road. And, when you're at the beginning, you barely make enough to scrape by, but, it's kind of a stipend to survive and eat and learn to get better at your craft. And I made it through that. And pretty soon, within about 5 or 6 months, I was on the road pretty much full time.
Have you written a book? Seems like I can see a book in there somewhere.
That's you know what? I've never written a book. I've written a zillion articles, and I've written a zillion radio segments, and I've written a zillion stand-up jokes, but no book. I'm not that great at story, Max. I for a half a second I thought I was going to be a sitcom writer, but I don't care about the story and the thing, and this happens to the character development. I just want to write a great joke. So that's what I think that's why I succeeded on Bob and Tom, because my skill set fits. I'm not good at writing out a big arc of things for characters, but I can sit and focus and work again and write and rewrite, and I can write a good radio segment. So that's what I just kept my head down, and that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, that's funny how people's skill sets develop, and it may not always go the way you want, but I think you're best, you're right, sticking with what you love.
Yeah, I agree. That's the reason that I was drawn to stand up, the reason I was drawn to playing poker, the reason I was drawn to playing fantasy football, the reason I was interested in football jokes. I've been lucky enough to keep working at the thing that I like and eventually turning it into my job. So I'll just keep doing that.
You play much poker anymore?
I haven't until recently, and we just moved in LA, and I've recently had some time, and I went and I played cards for like 3 days in a row in Commerce in LA. And actually, that's one of my favorite things about your place. I can go in the other room and play cards. So
yeah, and we got a 200 to 300 game now on Saturdays, and we just started Pot Lemon Omaha.
Oh, that's great.
Option, but it hasn't taken off too much, but it's an option. So
I love that. What's better than comedy and poker together? Max, I can't be the biggest name in comedy if you pull some of the syllables out.
Yeah. So maybe you'll see Costaki Economopoulos at Joker's Poker Table.
That's right.
You can sure see him at the comedy event, Friday and Saturday, 7:30. Special event, $20 ticket. And can't wait, Costaki.
I can't wait either. It'd be great to see you, Max. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you.